Welcome back, X-Wing players. I'm Phil.
And I am Jake. And I do want to thank you all for tuning in to the final round of our Bling Wave tournament. This is coming to you from GameSwap in Mason, Ohio, and it is 2016, August 23rd.
Yes, and we are showcasing two players who have been on the screen earlier in the day. We have Mike Jones on the left and Tommy Adams in the right. He has started his ships in the way corner, but we'll get to those lists in just a second. Go ahead and run over Mike's list real quick, just for those who have not seen any of the previous rounds there, Jake.
Absolutely. So Mike Jones is running a very interesting Rebel Ace Hunters list, as I'm calling it.
Speeding in with that slam there.
Oh, man. Slam messes with the opening so hard. Anyway, so we see Miranda Doni in her K-Wing, and she is running a twin laser turret, or TLT. She's running homing missiles, and to get those homing missiles off, she has long-range scanners. So you'll see she takes a target lock as well at some point. Now, we also have Nera Dantels. If you're not familiar with her, she is the B-Wing that can shoot a torpedo 360 degrees. And to support that, he's got Deadeye, he's got electronic baffle, he's got the Proton Torpedoes, extra munitions, and guidance chips. Worth noting that guidance chips is going to turn any die result into a crit, because Nera Dantels has primary weapon value of 3.
Yeah, very dangerous.
Absolutely.
Very dangerous.
Yes, especially if you're an arc dodger, you're not going to like it.
That's true.
Biggs Darklighter is Biggs Darklighter. He is a bullet sponge, and he has R4D6 and integrated Astromech. If you're not familiar with R4D6, it basically reads that if you have 4 uncancelled hits from an attack, what you can do is take stress, 1 stress per hit, to cancel those down to 2 uncancelled hits.
That's what we saw Biggs do in the semifinal round against Jake.
This is a battle-ready Biggs.
Yes. Speaking of battle-ready, Tommy is bringing a severely aggressive scum list. As you can see, his maneuvers at the top there. He's got Bossk in the YV666 did a 0-speed red maneuver, and he did a a speed 1 turn maneuver to the right with Tel. So neither ships move anywhere. This gives him a great opportunity to judge the battlefield completely, to see where his opponent's going to go and what kind of maneuvers they're going to do. Gives him a really good opportunity just to judge the field later on in the game.
I think we've seen that come into play as kind of the opening chess move of X-Wing, so to speak. When you have a ship that can do 0, you utilize that to do the 0 on the first turn and then bump your other ships into it so that you can really make the approach benefit you as much as possible.
Especially with IG-88s.
Definitely
common and aggressors.
I think we see it with PAL bases a lot too, and obviously, as we see here, any list that's running a YV666.
Yep. Speaking of that YV666, it is Bossk with Crackshot, Mangler Cannon, Dengar, Zuckuss, Forlom, and Inertial Dampeners. Super huge shout out for the party bus there. That's awesome.
Extreme offense coming at you, coming in hot.
Mangler Cannon gets you a maximum of 4 hits. 4 hits with Bosk's ability being that anywhere from range 1 to 3, you roll a hit. Mangler Cannon effect turns a hit into a critical result, and I think it's at the end of the compare results step.
Yes.
Bossk then turns that crit into an additional hit. So instead of going hit crit, it's hit. It's 4 hits there. It's very powerful.
It's so brutal. We have between Dengar and Zuckuss as well enough modification to make those hits stick too.
And speaking of Zuckuss and modification, Bossk doesn't really care about having stress on his ship, so he's just going to keep using Zuckuss to his advantage to have his opponent re-roll their defense dice. And Inertial Dampeners is there just in case, obviously because you're not going to be able to do the 0 maneuver because you're going to be stressed. So, and then Tel Trevura, what you can see at the top of the screen there, beautifully painted, is running an interesting list as well for the upgrades. It's got Predator, Gonk, R5P8, Punishing One, and the hull upgrade. So Tel Trevura's ability is when it would be destroyed, you can discard all damage card, including crits, and draw 4 new cards?
Draw 4 damage cards, and what that means on a normal Jumpmaster is that you come back with 1 health. On Tel Trevura, with a hull upgrade, it means that you're coming back with 2 health, and then you use Gonk to reclaim some of that shield value as well.
And speaking of that beautifully painted Jumpmaster, that is actually canon. We can go into that in a minute. But that brings me to my next point, Jake. Go ahead and take it away.
Absolutely. So going forward, at the end of every month, we're going to be holding a Bling Wave tournament, and in each Bling Wave tournament, we are excited to announce the Best in Show category. I am doing air quotes. Now, the Best in Show
I like saying that.
basically means that we're going to look at all the ships that are competing, and the best repaint, the best alteration of a ship, is going to get a special piece of prize support. So, we don't just want you to come in and win, we want you to come in and win our Bling Wave in style. So, paint up your ships, trick them out, get them the way you like them, and come in and show them off. And you might get something for it too. You might get a special prize.
Go a little bit more into Bling Wave. What's the prize in general every month for Bling Wave tournament?
Absolutely. So the reason we call it Bling Wave is that in this tournament, we gave away a trophy. That trophy was a glorious golden X-Wing, and you can see pictures of that on our Facebook as well. Now, what you will want to know going forward is that every Bling Wave tournament is going to feature a golden ship as a trophy to the winner. This time it was an X-Wing, next time it's a surprise. It's going to be a surprise every single time. So, while you're waiting for Wave 9 or 10 or 11 to come out, fight for the Bling Wave.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Again, I love that slogan. So,
I'm big on catchphrases.
we've only... That's good. It's good to have them. It's originality. We've only had quite a little bit of audio issues with the stream. And something I would like to mitigate going forward is camera positioning. Mm-hmm. So you can see that the ships that Tommy is using are kind of cut off here. I kind of want to position it later on to include the entire border of the plywood that the mat is underneath.
Bossk is just cloaked right now. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So going into the next round of maneuvers. Biggs is moving forward to speed of 2. He's really setting up. Mike's really setting up for a good engagement. Probably predicting a turn in either now or at some point in the near future by Tommy.
Oh, and a purposeful bump there. Really beautiful for keeping that formation tight. So both of this being the final round, you can say both of these players were very successful tonight. Now, I think that part of Mike's success is attributed to just how consistent he is with coming in such a tight formation in this opener. You see, all of his ships are ready to unload their full ordnance and attack value into anything unfortunate enough to float in front of them.
That's true. And as we mentioned in the last video, this list that Mike is flying is exceptionally beneficial at dealing with 2-ship lists. And that ordnance on Nera Dantels is nothing to scoff at. I mean, you're going to have at least 2 crits coming at you with that roll just due to Proton Torpedoes and guidance chips, you know.
Let's not count Tommy out, though, because Bossk has an unbelievable amount of damage potential.
That's true.
We went into how much damage he can put in. He's got a crack shot as well you need to worry about. Dengar is re-rolling his dice. Zuckuss is re-rolling yours. So that's scary. We've also got Tel Trevura with Gonk. He's got regen. He's got extra hull. So
there we go. Now we can see him.
I don't know which ship you try to kill first. Do you try to take out the damage dealer, or do you try to take out Tel Trevura? Because both of them are going to just be a pain in your side.
Speaking of Tel Trevura, like that paint job is just—it's so good. So good. You know more about the cannon than I do, so go ahead and brush up a little bit on that for those who are watching.
So, Tel Trevura, the ability comes because Tel Trevura stole a Jumpmaster. And he stole it by faking its destruction. That's why it blows up and then it comes back, because it's not really gone. That's a brand new shiny Jumpmaster. So the Jumpmaster that comes in the box looks a little beat up, which is usually perfect for a scum ship. But this one is brand new. So he filled in the paint job the way it is on Tel Trevura's card. And he also, you can't see it here, the missing panels at the bottom of the Jumpmaster model, he took Sculpey, or his friend did, but there was Sculpey in there filling in those panels.
Yeah,
just a beautiful alteration.
A fantastic model there. It looks great. So, as I probably would have expected, Tommy is starting to turn in here with Bossk. Very interesting maneuver by Miranda here. She's just going to skirt around the outskirts of this debris and asteroid field here and probably just try to keep Tel, or Bossk rather, in range for her TLT. So she does have...
Checking that with the target lock, I'm guessing?
No, she's already got the target lock on. I'm not sure why they're checking range here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another... Oh, yeah, because combat phase.
Oh, we're opening the combat phase? Okay.
I'm not sure what action that Tel took here.
I just realized Miranda is the highest pilot skill here, so it's kind of the onus is on her. Okay, so I'm seeing that she chose not to shoot one of her missiles. I don't know if she had the target lock on the wrong person, but she's choosing to shoot off a twin laser turret.
No. So why is...
I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, they could have just rolled off screen. No, I really don't know why Tel just shot at Miranda first.
Maybe it was just a little mishap. I'm sure they'll catch it.
Yeah, okay. Moving on, there was no damage done to either side. I'm sorry, I've been fluttering with other things in front of us here, so interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely going to have a turn in here. Do you think Tel's going to bump into Bossk?
So he gets to move. Both of his ships are at a 7, so he gets to move them in any order he wants. So if Tel bumps into Bossk, it's going to be by his design. I think that he might even throw Tel in front of Bossk to force a bump with Bossk and keep slow rolling. But that's obviously speculation on my part, so we'll see.
Yeah, you can see he's already taken a Gonk as an action.
Okay.
And I'm just not sure what he's planning on doing. I know Mike is definitely planning on a turn in here, at least for one of the ships. He's got a maneuver set for Miranda and Biggs. I think Nera is definitely going to want to get in front of Biggs so that she can maximize her Proton Torpedoes.
The other thing that's a little scary on Mike's end right now is that Miranda Doni is sitting out there taking on those two big scary ships by herself. Biggs and Nera are kind of, back there to the side. So the onus is really on Mike to reposition so that he can get all of his ships into the fight.
That's true. And I think Miranda can move at a slow enough speed to either allow the other two to catch up, but I don't think that's going to happen here. I think Mike's going to turn in with Biggs and Nera and just do a turn into that debris and asteroid cloud there, like right between that debris and asteroid, or she's just going to go a 3 forward and slam.
Well, that's the beauty of the planning phase, is that you can make these kinds of speculations.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. As Tommy sets the last dial for Tel, looks like Biggs is going to move first, obviously due to lower pirate skill. And yeah, as I expected, he's turning in the fastest that he can. That's the best angle of approach there with that 3-speed maneuver.
Absolutely.
He's just going to focus up, it looks like. Yep. Not much you can do with Biggs, unfortunately.
I don't know. I think Biggs is playing his role pretty well, which is just to keep the other ships from getting shot too hard.
I agree. So, another note, Nera, as we mentioned, has Deadeye, which means she only needs to focus. And since you're already getting the action economy from Proton Torpedoes turning a focus result into a crit result, and guidance chips turning any die result into a crit result, you have a very good chance of maximizing the amount of damage that you're going to potentially do to a ship.
My hunch here, though, is that he might even hang on to one of those torpedoes, even if he has a chance to shoot it, and shoot with a primary weapon instead, because he really wants to, I think, he really wants to be using Miranda's TLT and Biggs' Darklighter's primary weapon to strip the shields down before he gets those double crit shots in.
That's true. Yeah, but and as we see the YV666 turn in at a speed of 3, taking a focus, and then Tel turning in slightly behind Bossk, definitely covering his sectors of fire there. I like how his formation's going.
Oh, yeah.
He's a little bit predictable with the YV666 going to the next round of maneuvering, but that's still quite a ways off.
It's a YV. Yeah. Predictable is its middle name.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he also does have inertial dampeners, so you never know.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do the 0-speed maneuver.
Definitely.
He doesn't have to dampeners here. But Miranda is going to be turning in, which is going to render a lot of the maneuvers from that YV666 pretty much moot.
That's also scary, though. Staring down a YV with Mangler Cannon and Bossk, Dengar and Zuckuss.
See, that's the question here. Do you Mangler Cannon, or do you take your primary for a chance of scoring 5 hits?
It's a great question. I think it would come down to how much modification you think you're going to have, and I mean, we'll see what he does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So speaking of modification, Miranda's going to have a range 2 torpedo shot on Tel there. And Nera's going to
Do you mean a missile shot?
Yeah.
Okay,
missile.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a missile shot. You're right. Excuse me. I'm just used to saying torpedoes.
Right. We see a lot of them.
And then Nera also appears to have range for that torpedo shot. It looks like it's going to be obstructed, and I think Mike is debating on his action right now.
I think a lot of X-Wing players right now are in the mindset of running 2 or 3 ships and just kitting them out as much as possible.
Yep.
And I think we have seen the rise of Ordnance
as Mike takes the focus
dampen
there.
that a little bit. Just because of how brutal it is to watch your Han Solo or your Whisper get hit with a plasma torpedo and lose all its shields.
And indeed, Mike is taking that range 2 shot with his secondary missile weapon there.
There it is.
He's rolling 4 dice as a base value. He's subtracting a shield from Miranda's ability to roll 5 dice. So he has hit,
reroll 1,
crit, hit. Oh, he's got 3 hits and 2 crits there.
Ouch.
I'm sorry.
And that's coming into Tel?
One crit and 4 hits going to
Okay.
Tel. They're fumbling with the dice down there. Going into Tel.
Tel.
And Tel will spend a focus for 1 evade. So it's all the shields gone from Tel there. Is he going to pain bot?
And,
nothing from the pain bot.
Nothing from the pain bot. That is a brutal exchange right there. Miranda shooting a missile into Tel and just stripping off all those shields.
Yep, so Biggs, however, is not in range 1 of Miranda, so Miranda is a sitting duck with 3 shields right now, and no modification.
I mean, this has really just been Mike's MO all night, is just to that 1-2 punch of the homing missile, stripping down all the shields, Nera Dantels then coming in and firing a torpedo at 360 degrees and just laying down the smack.
And you can see as Tel puts 2 hits into Miranda, attempts to reroll with Predator and gets nothing.
Okay.
Also, it's worth noting that target lock should be gone, as Tommy was pointing out there. I was wondering why Mike didn't remove it. Spent it for that missile strike. So now Bossk is going to have a range 1. Let's see how many dice Tommy's going to roll. Whoops.
Little bumpage there. It happens in a miniatures game.
Tommy is rolling 4 dice, so he's doing his range 1 attack.
Okay.
That is a lot of hits on board.
Okay.
It looks like he's got at least hit, crit, and I think the other is a hit as well, going into Miranda's hull. Nothing from Miranda, so he's going to add an additional hit,
Oh, no.
canceling that with Bossk's ability.
Oh, how many shields does Miranda have at base again?
Miranda had 2 shields left. She's got 2 damage on her hull now.
Oh my god! And one of those was a crit. So
no, he canceled it.
Oh, he canceled
the
it.
crit to
Okay.
add the other hit.
Oh right, I forgot Bossk does that. So yes,
I think at that point
Bossk.
I would have rather put the crit on Miranda than add an additional hit, because you still take down the shield. You're just giving her a crit instead of an additional damage card. But it's still scary either way.
But I think like the best case scenario a lot of people feel is to get that extra damage out of the crit.
That's true.
So, cutting the middleman of the deck.
That's true. As Nera is spending a focus with Deadeye to use.
Oh, Nera has her range 3.
Yep, their torpedoes against Bossk there, it looks like.
And we've got hit, crit, based on all the modifications.
Against Tel right there.
On Tel. And that is Tel Trevura in a lot of pain.
So Tel is taking a lot of damage here.
A missile and a torpedo in the same round. Not very many ships can withstand that.
If Tel was just a regular Jumpmaster instead of it being Tel, that's a dead Jumpmaster.
Oh, that's a dead
already.
Yes.
Already, because Tel has used its ability, and he's down to 4 hull, no shields, has Gonk as an action still to recover a shield, but that is not in good shape.
Yeah, so Tel has now used his ability, and he is Zombie Tel, meaning that he's already come back from the dead. He's got his 2 health.
Yep, and planning the next round of maneuvers here. This is really challenging because obviously you've got the asteroid in front of Big, so you have to go at a fast enough speed to either go through it or go at a angle as to which you don't even hit it. But I think what Mike's going to do here is just steamroll through the asteroid and take a chance on having no actions just to have a shot on Tel.
We'll see. A two hard turn might clear it as well, and that would also put Biggs in position to soak up some damage. But you're right, so he might just steamroll through. I mean, you would not want to see Biggs end up in, based on bumping and things, end up on the asteroid and lose the shot.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know if that would happen.
Worst case scenario, Biggs loses a shot, but I think that's good enough for Nera to get in there, focus up, and still have a torpedo shot against Tel.
And I'm wondering if he's going to try to do a 3 hard turn with Miranda Doni and clear and get an action, or if he's just going to resign himself to bumping with Miranda.
Yeah, I would definitely zero speed maneuver here with that YV. Just try to get something onto Miranda. I mean, because she's got 3 damage on her. So that's
true.
I mean, you only need 2 more. The YV 666 is full shield. Of course, I mean, it wouldn't also be a bad idea to just turn away with Tel and just get your actions back with Gonk.
Hey, so something...
Shields back, rather.
Back to the topic of altered miniatures, but repaints, sculpey, what have you. You can't really see it very well in this video feed, but I want to bring up something about Mike and his T-65 X-Wing. It's a little banged up. One of the guns is missing. I think one of the wings is broken up. And we asked him about it, and he says, well, yeah, it's Biggs Darklighter. And it's funny because, you know, Biggs Darklighter's MO is just to die and get banged up. So it's interesting that he chose to alter his miniature that way.
Somewhat canon. Unintentionally, but yeah.
I mean, I think we've all dropped a T-65 and watched it break on the floor, and now you can kind of just smile and say, I guess that's Biggs now.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, another round of deliberation here from Tommy as he decides what he's going to do with Tel. I think he's going to do the 0 speed maneuver here with Bossk. I'll be shocked if he doesn't, or just dampener it. Mm-hmm. But this is the turn where I think we're going to see some major damage going through again. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting as all the dials are set now. Biggs and Nera, are set to move first. And Biggs
just
doing that, steamrolling through the asteroid. No actions.
Probably gonna try to soak up Bossk's damage there, maybe Tel's as well.
And I can't quite tell what it is. And he does take a damage there.
Okay.
Does take a damage there. So he removed a shield. He's down to 1 less shield on Biggs. No actions. Now Nera comes up to the plate. Is this a 2 forward or a 1 forward? Yep.
Looks like a 1.
1 forward. She's going to focus up.
I think that was the right call, honestly,
agree.
But we'll see.
Because you want to be able to still use your ordnance. I mean, being able to just focus in Deadeye, it's really a beautiful thing.
Well, the other thing about fighting a YV666 and a shuttle for that matter is that once you're behind it, it's not out of the game. You still have to be very careful, but once it's the only threat on the board and you can get behind it, you can really breathe a sigh of relief, because a lot of that extreme offense we see from Bossk is really just not going to come into play because it's not going to have a shot.
Oh, wow. And speaking of Bossk, he is electing not to dampener here.
Okay.
And he's just going to bump into Miranda. I'm not sure if he's anticipating a bump from Miranda as well to prevent an attack going into Bossk from Miranda, or to prevent Miranda from having actions for Tel. But she doesn't need actions necessarily because she's got TLT.
Well,
and that
now
just puts
Bossk
damage on her.
Bossk has one fewer stress than if he had.
Well, he didn't have a stress from before, though.
I know, but Bossk doesn't now. Bossk would have had to take a stress to go 0.
As we see that turn away with Tel there.
Yeah.
He's going to gonk to get that shield back. And this is where I think push the limit really comes into play. But I was talking to Tommy about this after his semifinal win. And he made some really good points. And as Miranda just careens past the
maneuvering there,
YV666 there, and we saw that with the semifinal round when Mike was going over Manaru. He's very effective at doing that, and it really catches his opponents off guard. So
Miranda is really such a feast or famine type fighter here, because when she has the shields to burn and to spend, it's brutal to see that 4 attack primary at range 1 at 360 come through. But right now, Miranda's ability is not doing him a lot of good. He doesn't have the shields to spend to increase his attack value, and he probably doesn't want to decrease his attack value either to regain a shield.
Especially with Biggs being out of range 1 from Miranda, it's going to be interesting to see what Mike does here. As he takes a focus action, I think he's going to... it's range 1, so no TLT. I think he's going to roll 1 less dice and only roll 2 dice, instead of 3 to recover a shield against Tel.
Yes. I don't know, though. I mean, is that shield worth it to him? Miranda is so close to death. It might be worth it to just get more damage in. I don't know what his thinking is right now.
I mean, look where Nera is. I think right now it's a good opportunity for Miranda to regain a shield, even though she's still rolling 1 more. Yeah, as he takes the shield with Miranda, he's only going to be rolling 3 dice, and he's going to follow up on Tel with Nera.
Okay.
For certain. So I can't tell what he rolled there. It looks like a focus result and one other that's off camera. And that will be against Tel. How many dice is that? Tel is rolling 2 dice. So he is electing not to modify with Miranda.
Wait. Okay. 2 green dice. I'm sorry. I thought you meant 2 reds.
Well, he rolled for R5P8 there. I wonder if he rolled off camera.
Okay.
Oh, that's what he did. He didn't roll a hit, so Mike didn't spend any focus tokens.
Okay, so we see a miss from R5P8.
Yep, and then a pretty bad attack from Tommy there as he rolls range 1 and only gets 1 hit, and Miranda's able to spend the focus for evade, which is very well executed. Man. Generally you want to save your focus tokens for defense like that. And I think that's why Mike contemplated so long about saving his focus token instead of on the offense. So Bossk looks like he's going into Biggs here, yes.
Now Bossk is using a primary weapon.
That is correct.
Because he cannot shoot his cannon broadside, so that means no crit effect from none of Bossk's inherent crit nonsense. So has Bossk already used his crack shot, or does he still have that?
Bossk has just used his crack shot, as you see Tommy flip it down in the right corner there.
Okay.
That is 3 hits going to Biggs there, it looks like.
Now, again, anytime Biggs is going to take more than 2 damage, he can use R4D6 to mitigate it down to 2. He takes a bunch of stress in the process, but who cares?
That's true.
Integrated Astromech is just icing on the cake. Icing on the incredibly survivable, annoying cake that just won't die.
That's true. And he's protecting Nera right now. And as he uses R4D6 there to mitigate the damage on his ship, and he is choosing not to eject that Astromech with integrated Astromech.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see if Nera can put the last 2 hits that Mike needs onto Tel with that last missile there, and that is an outstanding use. Nope, she is just going to Bossk right now. No, she is going to Tel. Why is he not using his torpedo?
Well, maybe he wants to save it for Bossk. Maybe he wants to save it until he's taken some shields off of Bossk. He has the liberty to do that right now because he's not taking a shot on Nera, so there's no damage of her dying before she gets that torpedo off.
Yeah, so he gets a damage in on Tel from Nera there.
I want to bring up the interesting dynamic right now between Big's Darklighter and R4D6 and integrated Astromech. There's some interesting decisions to be made when
I'm sorry. He attacked with Biggs first to Tel. That's why.
Okay.
That's why I was looking at that. That's right, because he went from Bossk to Biggs, and now he went from Biggs to Tel. And now he's doing Nera to Tel, spending the focus. Tel rolls nothing, and there goes.
There goes Tel. There goes Tel.
So you were saying?
Well, I was just bringing up that when you take a bunch of hits on an X-Wing that has integrated Astromech and R4D6, sometimes you have some really interesting decisions to make between using integrated Astromech versus the opportunity to mitigate more hits, effectively giving your X-Wing more health in future rounds. So we've seen Mike eject R4D6 to integrated Astromech. We've seen him elect not to do it and to keep it. So it's really interesting to see what goes through players' heads when that happens.
Absolutely. So as we move into the next round of planning, Tommy is now down a ship. Yeah, he really got hit hard with that Ordnance, as he had to use the Tel ability very early. And Bossk here has a lot of work to do. Miranda is going to turn away, or she could turn to the right here at a speed of 2 or 3, and rather this 3 speed being a bank. But she could turn to the right and slam closer towards Bossk and save it for future engagements. She's still got a shield.
I don't think we're going to see Miranda slam, because every time Miranda gets to attack, she gets to regain a shield, essentially. So I think that the bigger problem for Bossk than the amount of attack and defense he has to deal with is the fact that right now he has these ships behind him, and YV-666s are not known for their ability to turn around in tight spaces.
That's true.
So we'll see how he plays this.
So as Mike elects last combat phase not to use the torpedo strike, he still has 1 left from extra munitions as he just focuses there. And the Bossk is just getting the hell out of there, trying to turn away from the action. He's still within range of Miranda's TLT at the moment, but that's dependent on where she goes, and that's why I said she could very well turn to the right here.
Hey, the model's back. We haven't seen the model in a while.
Yep. I think he needs to paint that too, and paint it a big old bus.
Yep.
See, there's the 2 turn from Miranda, which is going to keep Bossk in range for that TLT strike. She's just going to focus up here, I'm sure.
Yeah. Miranda really lets you have your cake and eat it too with twin laser turret, because you get to regain that shield and then you get to do damage.
That's absolutely correct. Well, a smaller chance of doing damage on that first roll than the second, but you still have the focus token to use. All you need
it's as good as any TIE fighter.
Exactly. Exactly. All you need to do is have a couple damage go through each turn, and you're pretty golden. There's some bumpages going on here. Yeah, I guess that's where Biggs was. Yeah, it looks like it's range 3 with TLT there. So Mike's probably going to recover a shield here. Yeah, he's only rolling 2 dice.
Okay. And Bossk has a focus resolve.
Nothing there.
Does not. Oh, Bossk has a stress.
Yeah, because the 2 speed. Because he did the 3 speed rather.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you need to take stress to get yourself back in the game.
That's true.
So let's see where Bossk is coming from. He cannot shoot his Mangler Cannon because he does not have primary arc. So
another shot from TLT going through. That puts Bossk down to 4 shield.
Okay.
I believe. I can't really tell underneath the overlay we got going on.
Okay,
there.
Bossk shoots his primary at Miranda and rolls 3 hits.
Miranda does get a bonus dice from the range. I don't believe it's not obstructed.
This is not obstructed.
So she's getting to roll 2 dice. And
Watch
she's
out.
going to four-alarm. Tommy's going to four-alarm that focus token there.
Oh, there it is.
First time I've seen that in a while.
Forlom, in case you don't know, reads that after you roll your red dice, basically...
Ooh, and he's Zuckussing that evade result here, too.
Oh.
So that's 3 hits going through on Miranda. He puts 1 more
Making
on.
them stick.
Oh, goodness. So Miranda's hurting here, too. She's got 4 damage on her with no shields.
So the timing of Forlom is that basically you roll your red dice, and then you take an ion token and choose one of their green tokens, like a focus or an evade. They can't use it during your attack. So between that and Zuckuss and Dengar, he's re-rolling his dice, he's re-rolling your dice, he's telling you what tokens you're allowed to spend. Yep. He's going to make those hits stick.
Yep, absolutely correct. And as I mentioned, Bossk doesn't really care about stress because he's got that modification through Dengar and with the Mangler Cannon. So that's a lot of hits potentially that are going through. So you lose a little bit of action economy with focus and target lock, but you have that modification with Dengar, especially since all 3 pilots in Mike's list are named pilots.
Right, that's true too. Dengar is the crew, in case you haven't seen
Nera
it before.
uses that last missile there, it looks like, with Deadeye going into Bossk.
Oh, Nera fires that torpedo. Yeah,
Yep.
this is the time for it, isn't it? Just, seal the deal.
Yep, as he's wondering what he's going to do going into the next move here. I think we're going to see I would just do a 1-2 forward with Miranda here. And
I think that X-Wing players right now are a little spoiled by all the turrets and the auxiliary firing arcs in the meta. So right now, Miranda actually has to be pointed at something it wants to shoot. Imagine that. We don't see that too much in X-Wing anymore.
That's true. Well, Nera he's got really good synergy with Nera going on there. Just being able to shoot a secondary weapon. In this
range,
case,
at 360. Well, it has to be.
It's got to be a
torpedo.
Excuse me. 360 degrees is fantastic. So the only disadvantage to that is auto thrusters.
Yeah,
and
which we didn't see much of.
There were, I think, James Wade was the only one running anything with auto thrusters.
Yeah, we did not see. We saw no Palp Aces, and we only saw a few Imperial Aces lists. So.
Yeah, that's something I should mention also. James Wade was a player as well in the top 4. He faced Tommy in the semi-final round. He was running Vessery Aces with Vessery, the Inquisitor, and a Mega Leader.
We saw a lot of a Mega Leader.
Yes, and a couple Mega Leaders and Vesseries were out there. So it's good that the meta was so diverse and not everybody was playing triple Jumpmasters or
Palp
Aces, what have you.
And there's nothing wrong with those lists. Like, they are fun to play, and they're pretty fun to play against. We see them a lot, and they are known to be effective, but they're really only as effective as the player playing them, and we see that playing out on the table here today with these lists as well.
It was absolutely true. As Mike is taking plenty of time deciding what maneuvers he's going to perform going into this round, as he's going to move Bigs first. I like this turn-in maneuver here just to cover any additional angles of fire. Sure, he might not be in the optimal range, but he's going to get there eventually, so he's at least going to have shots of this turn. And you see Nera following closely behind. Looks like she's just probably going to focus up. Yeah. She's target locking. That's right, because she no longer has...
when it's 3 ships versus 1,
there.
You can afford to prioritize offense over defense just because of the overwhelming health advantage you have over your opponent. So, I definitely can't fault him for prioritizing offense.
So it looks like Bossk is popping the dampeners there as
Here they
Miranda's swinging around.
That's a good time for it. Bossk now is able to keep himself from having to shoot bigs and maybe take out a more threatening ship first.
Yeah, especially that ship being Miranda right now, as Mike decides what action to perform with her. Biggs is not within range 1, and Miranda's just going to slam completely out of arc of that YV. And so no shots will be taken at Miranda this turn.
Fantastic use of the
unbelievable.
slam action just now. You don't see that very often. People using slam.
Oh, and that
to-
space is so small too.
Oh my god! We really have seen some expert play tonight.
That's Miranda's cloak there. No, that is his indication that she has slammed. I'm not sure if he brought his.
These kinds of games of X-Wing are what make you want to play X-Wing.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a very good maneuver there. And he was just able to fit it right in. And it looks like the only shots are going to be from
Does Biggs have a shot?
Biggs has the only shot.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Bossk has Biggs in that auxiliary firing arc.
I'd say no.
Yep, and Biggs has the only shots here. It looks like
Yeah.
hit blank
And
with
you see,
Bossk rolling 1 and losing a shield.
how often do you see a YV rolling 3 defense dice?
That's true. Certainly not much. Certainly not much. But that's what I mentioned. You know, the obstacle placement is pretty good for this particular game. I mean, I would have liked to see Tommy utilize his Tel a little bit better to go around the far left side of the screen. But that's still a lot of work for him to do just to get out there, specifically since he does not have engine upgrade. So
Yeah. I do think it's interesting to see which players choose the debris and which ones choose the asteroid. Ideally, what it comes down to is your list and how much you care about actions, how much you care about, getting your shots and your stress, etc. But sometimes what it comes down to is just you as a player, what you're more comfortable seeing on the table.
And I think Mike is comfortable enough with his maneuverability that he's just countering other lists at this particular point.
Yeah.
So specifically, large base ships like the Triple Jumpmasters or Dengar or even Tel and Bossk. Not that we've seen any issues with maneuverability from those lists. I think that's just what it's designed to do.
Well, the other thing, you see that asteroid in the center, it actually kind of looks like a middle finger.
That's true.
How appropriate is that?
That's true.
Right? Especially
I'm
when
getting the finger
when
right
your
now.
opponent crashes into it. It's like a middle finger pointed at you, saying,
That's
hey,
very true.
you bumped into me. How do you feel about
Well,
that?
if it's an Academy pilot, it's just going to blow up anyway. That's funny. But yeah, I was very happy with the diversity of the men. I said it
Definitely.
before. And all the players that came out flew their ships well. Unfortunately, some were less lucky with their dice rolls than others. And
But what it really came down to is the maneuvering and
Yep.
the expertise of the players. We really saw
Yep.
some great games of X-Wing tonight.
the nature of the beast is definitely dice in this game.
Yeah.
Um,
And
my-
being able to manipulate them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
My feeling is that the dice only factor into about 10%
Yeah.
of
Well,
the game. If
And
that.
especially when you've got the ability to take things like focus actions and use things like Zuckuss and Dengar
Yep.
to reroll them.
Yep.
So,
So though there are presumably more things that favor the modifications of attack dice, there are still very effective
Yeah.
lists such as Palp Aces that absolutely
rely on defense.
phenomenally rely on defense, and they execute it so well.
Yeah. Like Suntir fell.
Absolutely. So for the tournament on the 27th of August, I highly anticipate some higher tiers of competition. I feel that we'll see at least 1 to 2 Palp Aces lists. I feel like we'll see a little bit more in terms of the Triple Jumpmaster. It all depends on who's coming to play and from where. I mean, Mike's from Columbus.
Yeah.
If he brings some of his friends with him, that's going to be
At the
going to be fun.
At the same time, though, I foresee people of a newer caliber, I don't want to say lower caliber competition-wise, but just people who are a little newer to the game, because we do really go to great efforts to make these tournaments beginner-friendly. And we saw some beginners in this tournament, and
That's true.
They had some wins and they had some losses, and they played some great games of X-Wing, and they walked away with some great prize support.
That's true. Yeah, as Mike is anticipating the maneuver from Tommy here,
Okay.
Bossk is turning in.
There's something to say about having a model that's bigger than all the other models on the board. Whether or not that means anything mechanically, it is imposing, and it's a little intimidating.
That's
just
true.
to see that big YV pointed at you.
And great positioning again by Miranda, just doing that one bank to the left to keep Bossk in range of TLT.
Yeah.
I think Bossk is going to take some serious hits here. And speaking of Tommy again, he came up with a group from Louisville. Those guys are awesome too. Definitely want to see them back. Gordon was playing the triple Jumpmaster list that you saw earlier in one of our videos. I think that was round three or four, something like that. I think it was round 4.
Definitely.
He went 2-2 that day, and he had a pretty decent event. I would have loved to have captured his game against Vestry Aces.
3v3.
And that was probably the longest game of the day. After time, just because they were really, really deliberating on what to do with their maneuvers, and like that last round going into time like made or broke the game for both players. So
I mean, it's also always so interesting to ask the question, can a fully loaded scout take down an ace by himself? And the answer is sometimes.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And so what we're seeing here is basically the calm before the storm as far as dice go.
Yeah, and Miranda's ability just to be able to lock down evade tokens with homing missiles is crucial in matchups against Sutirfell and the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Which we saw one Inquisitor all day.
Similarly, Bossk's crack shot kit out it seems like he just threw a point in there because he had a point and he's like, hey, why not crack shot? But if you think about it with Bossk, his ability reads that you have to hit to get his crit modification off, so it makes sense having crack shot on Bossk.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as Miranda rolls one less dice on her first TLT shot to regain a shield.
There it is.
And spends the focus on the second, getting a damage in.
And it looks like we're measuring that primary firing arc, and it looks like
Bossk has that range 1 shot on Biggs there. So let's see what Tommy rolls here. Oh, and he blanks out.
Oh, man. You hate to see that.
Reroll with
sometimes it
Dengar,
happens.
blanks out, and a focus with no focus token. That's unfortunate. And
That's going to hurt. It really is.
Tommy's dice were hot all day, especially in his game 1 matchup against Jacob. But you never like seeing that.
No.
Blanks on a attack or defense dice.
No, you really don't. And it is really too bad that he couldn't fire that Mangler Cannon either. I don't think it would have helped. But
yeah, true. So it looks like we have Nera spending her target lock on Bossk.
Okay.
It's 2 there.
Okay.
2 there. So Bossk takes 2 more. He's down to 2 health.
Okay, this next attack might clench it. We have a range 1
Biggs
attack
spending
from
the
Biggs.
focus. 2 hits and nothing from Bossk. So
Okay.
yeah, there's the handshake and that'll do it.
All right. Hey, big congratulations to Mike Jones, our Bling Wave August 2016 champion.
July
2016 champion. August is TBD. We do hope that he enjoys his glorious Golden X-Wing trophy, and we hope to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for watching so much. Again, if you have any thoughts about how the overlays or how the commentary went, please leave a comment and definitely give the video a like with what you think. If you like X-Wing and you like the quality of our videos, feel free to click that subscribe button. Until next time, this is Phil.
And I'm Jake.
Fly casual.